everyone, welcome to Demon Kitty Creations. I'm your host, Tashi. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a kind of tutorial, kind of watch me figure out how to do something kind of thing. In the last video, I showed you the molds that I made for dice. And in this video, I will be taking those molds and making a full set of dice. Not sure how they're gonna turn out. I'm a little nervous. I can't wait to show you. So we'll just get right into the video now. Thank you! Alright, first we'll gather our supplies. We have our mold that I made in a previous video, which will be linked in the iCard section. We have pink resin pigment from AliExpress. There is an example square here that I'll show you. It is very, very brightly colored, very pigmented, very beautiful, beautiful, vibrant pink. I'm hoping to make it just a little tiny bit more opaque. We got some gloves over in the corner. We have some tape that I will move out of the way. We have glitter. Out of these, I know for sure I'll use the white, but I may use the purple as well. I haven't determined yet. I have chunky pink glitter, as well as iridescent white glitter, and fine grain pink glitter. We have a syringe here that I will use for putting the resin into the mold. The tape will be used to surround the mold to keep it together. We also have our resin here. We have part 1 or part A resin, part 2 or part B hardener. You need both parts to create the resin. I use Envirotex Light. Always make sure that you have gloves. Resin can be very caustic. We have a little cup here that I will use to mix the resin in. We have popsicle sticks that will be used for stirring. I try to keep several with me at all times, just to make sure that, you know, if one gets dirty or I drop it or I just find that it has too much resin on it and it's getting all over my gloves, I can use another one. Here is the instructions for the resin. This is a 1-to-1 ratio 2-part epoxy resin, meaning 1 part or 1 measure of resin to 1 measure of hardener. Popsicle sticks will be used not only to blend the resin, but also to blend in the colorant and the glitter. Now I will be attempting to put the tape on the mold. This does not quite go as planned. This is painter's tape, which doesn't have a lot of stickiness to it to begin with, but even less so when you're trying to stick it to such a smooth surface, such as the silicone that I used to create these molds. I do barely manage to succeed in getting one done, as you'll see. However, as you can see when I pull it apart, it is very loose still. I don't believe it would have worked in the long run. Anyways, on this one, I decided to try half a strip instead of a full strip, thinking that maybe it would make it easier to wind it around the mold. Spoiler alert, it doesn't at all help, but it was a nice thought. This one actually isn't even long enough to touch each other, so this one was going to fail no matter what. And it is at this exact moment that I determined I gave up on tape. Especially that tape. Painter's tape is not a good idea. I actually had it for Perler Bead projects. It was the only tape I had. Luckily I had some hair things around with me, so I just popped those off, stretch them out, put them on. Okay, now that all of those are all fixed up, we will begin working with our resin. First thing we have to do is look at the graduated cylinder. That's probably not exactly what that is. It's more of just a regular measuring cup. And measure equal parts of part A, resin, and part B, hardener. Alright, now that both parts are poured in, we can begin stirring the mixture. Alright, so as you can see, it started to overflow a little bit, so I had to get another cup and pour it into it. I really should have known that that was going to happen as it was so full, but I messed up and went ahead and did it. During the time that I was doing this, I kept hitting the camera, so please forgive me on that. Okay, now that it has been mixed thoroughly with all the glitter and the colorant, we will pull some into the syringe and begin the process of inserting the resin into the molds. It was actually kind of difficult to pull into the syringe, not going to lie. After finishing all of the dice molds, I had enough left for another little piece, so I grabbed this mold that I had already made several months ago, cleaned it out with some rubbing alcohol because it did have a lot of cat fur all up in it, and went ahead and filled it with what I could of the remaining resin. There was still some resin left. I really did not plan too well on the resin amounts, and I have always had this problem. Hopefully I'll get better at it. I'm sure I will eventually. But yeah, that is actually a pendant from Hercules, the Disney movie Hercules, in which Megara wears that crest with the little circle. It was created as a custom that was requested by a friend of mine for a cosplay. With all that complete, we will now wait 3 days and then unmold all of our projects. Alright, it has been 3 days and we are ready to start unmolding our dice. I am very excited. I have already unmolded the Megara pen to see how the molds were doing a few hours ago, but we will now unmold the very first dice and there we go, the dice is out, the first one, and as you can see, it seems to have came out in one piece. The screw is very tightly on there, so I will have to cut it off. You can see the numbers pretty clearly in the light. I mean, they're just indentions right now, so they're a little hard to see. All of the resin is out of the mold. There's nothing stuck in there. So that one was a pretty clean removal. Now we're going to try this next one. Let's see how it goes. Right, this one came out pretty clean as well. It looks a little weirdly shaped to me, but that might just be me. Once again, very sticky, very sticky. And a clean mold. And another clean removal. This one, however, I believe, no, there's just a lot of bubbles at the base there for some reason. At first I thought that maybe it was missing part, but it's just a lot of air bubbles, which I don't have a pressure pot or anything currently, so there really is very few ways for me to get out all the air bubbles and still have the glitter show up properly. But I plan on remedying that soon. This one popped out pretty clean as well. Everything looks to be in order. Once again, super sticky. All of these are so sticky. So sticky. It took forever to get the sticky off my hands. I had to wash my hands like 3 times after this. It was ridiculous. This one ended up very, very jacked up. There's an entire corner missing. There is a lot of air bubbles and strange little discolorations. This is one of the worst of the dice that came out by far. That one actually stuck to my hand as it came out, and this one is almost missing the entirety of where the screw attaches. I'm not honestly sure how the screw is even still attached to this one at all. And this one comes out very clean, very nice. Near perfect. Once again, all of these have a lot of air bubbles and they're all exceptionally sticky. Which I'm not sure why they're sticky. They cured for plenty of days. I think perhaps I didn't mix it thoroughly enough, or even it could be the fact that it was too cold in my room, but the sticky is everywhere and it persists. Oh, right, so as you could tell from the unmolding section, that didn't really go quite as nice as I would have liked it to. There was that one die that just straight up the section where the screw attached, it didn't have anything on it. There was the D6 that was missing an entire corner. They were also very, very tacky. I can still feel on my fingers because I just touched them, and they're still very, very tacky. Even after several days passed when I took them out, they're still tacky. I did put some rubbing alcohol on one of them, and after a couple days, it did stop being tacky. Beat this one. The main problem that I have is, let me see if I can get it to show you. Come on, focus. Focus. Oh, it doesn't want to focus. Right there. That's where the screw was attached, and now there is just a chunk missing out of the corner. No amount of sanding is really going to fix that, so I have determined that any dice made out of this mold will more than likely be decorative dice. I will add a jump ring to them, turn them into necklaces, earrings, charms for bracelets, maybe keychains. But I think that there was just too much hot glue where the screw connects to the actual dice, and that caused it to just be too attached. There's really nothing I can do about it. I am going to try some mild modifications on the next set that I do in that mold, but I don't see it helping much. And all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this new experience with me. I have a lot that I learned from this and a lot that I'm going to be working on. I will give you a little sneak peek at some of the stuff that we are doing in the future. My husband just got a brand new Ender 3D printer, and he is ecstatic, and I am ecstatic because this opens up a whole new realm for us in what we can do and molds that we can make and pieces that we can make. So now then, our first piece had to be something classic. Baby Yoda! Here's this little cup. It's not attached to his hands right now, and it will kind of fall through if I'm not careful, so there. Now then, obviously it's rough right now. We haven't gotten the support strings off of it yet or anything like that. I have to sand it, paint it, but yeah, that was our first major project with it. We also, as a test print, created this little Death Star. It was 2 halves, I glued them together. It has a hole in the bottom that could potentially make it a pencil topper. Unfortunately, it's just a little too big for most pencils. This is not a pencil, but oh wait, there's a pencil. Yeah. It's just too big for most pencils, but I think it's cute. Makes a nice little decoration for my desk. I am gonna paint it eventually, but so much to do, so little time. However, I'm very, very, very excited on what's to come with the 3D printer, as well as I'm still waiting on those molds from AliExpress. There will be a haul and review of those when I get them in. Hopefully that will be very soon and I can get ready and make that video. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so that you get a notification every time I post. Until next time, this is Demon Kitty Creations, signing out. Bye!